What's up, YouTube? It's JackalGoldKick, and welcome to the start of pretty much reaction videos on this YouTube channel. I've always enjoyed watching reaction videos, and it's something I've always wanted to figure out, and I finally figured out how to make them. Shout out to Spirited21 for recommending Clipchamp. Hopefully this works well for what I need to do. Let me know how it turns out. I haven't made a ton of reaction videos on my channel, but it's something I want to start doing. I want to try doing a different type of content. I've always wanted to do reaction videos. Now, I want to try to aim for most of the reaction videos to be blind, but some of these will be sprinkled in with stuff I've already seen because I kind of want to enter the reaction scene by reacting to things that haven't been reacted to that much or haven't been reacted to at all. And I still feel like I can make it entertaining and add some commentary. So for this reaction, we are going to be doing a reaction to, you pull this up right here, Albert Wesker versus Frank West, Silver Screen Showdown Season 1, Episode 1. Now, what this pretty much is this is a series by the YouTuber Nintendo Reviewer where he has specific characters fight each other, whether it's comic book characters, video game characters, characters from movies, and we're going to be reacting to Season 1, Episode 1 of Silver Screen Showdown, which is Albert Wesker from Resident Evil versus Frank West from Dead Rising. Now, I've seen this plenty of times before. This is one of my favorite episodes from the series. I really enjoy this video. How I found this YouTuber in this series is there was a time where I was really into watching those live action fights on YouTube where they have certain characters fight each other. I've always liked watching those type of videos. And I think it was either this one or the Governor versus Wesker fight I stumbled upon. It was one of those two that I stumbled upon, and that's how I found the Silver Screen Showdown series. And this is probably my favorite one in the series because I love Resident Evil and I love Dead Rising. And I really love these kind of live action fights that people do. I wish there was more and more of them out there. I wish I could make them myself if I could ever learn how to. And yeah, because there's a lot of other people I'd love to see fight each other. Anyways, yeah, let's watch and react to Albert Wesker versus Frank West, Silver Screen Showdown, Season 1, Episode 1 by Nintendo Reviewer. All rights go to Nintendo Reviewer. This is his video, so link in the description to his video. Go support it. Go check it out. I don't own the footage at all. I'm just reacting to it. So I've already seen this before, so this isn't a blind reaction, but let's do this. By the way, I love this Banjo Kazooie shirt that this guy's wearing. I grew up playing that game and Banjo-Tooie as well. Great series, but let's get started on this.
Hey everyone, and welcome to our very first episode of Silver Screen Showdown. This show will be pitting characters from different video games, movies, comic books, and TV shows against each other in epic battles. For our premiere episode, we have the main villain of the Resident Evil series, Albert Wesker, versus the hero of the Dead Rising series, Frank West. Who will win? Well, let's get to our first showdown.
Now, my face cam might be blocking this part of the screen, so I will read the text for you. In the corner, it says Arclay Mountains, outskirts of Raccoon City, which is obviously an area from Resident Evil. I like the little intro he did where he was introducing the series and what it was about. It's a nice touch.
Smile for the camera, Wesker. Alright, that should do it.
Ah, crap. Afternoon, Frank West.
Off the bat, I want to say the clothes and design for both of these people playing Frank West and Albert Wesker is really good. The guy playing Frank has a really good outfit. The guy playing Wesker has a cool outfit. Now, usually Wesker has blonde hair, but not really an issue for me because it's an entertaining fight. Um, so it would have been cool if the guy playing Wesker would have had blonde hair, but maybe he just didn't want to dye his hair entirely blonde just for this one fight. So I would understand that. Not a big deal, but it would have been nice to see that. But still, the outfits are on point for Frank West and Wesker, and I think these are some good outfits for these characters. And I like how there's this little setup, and we're going to start to see some setup between the two characters before there's even a fight. I like that touch.
Oh, you know me.
Indeed. The journalist who covered the story of the zombie outbreak in the mall. You put up quite a fight against the dead, though I can't say your journalism skills were anything impressive.
Hey, man, I've covered wars, you know. Did you decide to cover wildlife instead? Nice change.
Not for me. I'm sorry, but I'll have to confiscate your camera.
Hey, fuck you, man. It's my job.
Poor Frank. Before you know it, no one's job will mean anything anymore. Besides, I am a police officer. You're just a photographer. Now I'm ordering you. Hand over your camera.
Some really good dialogue between Frank West and Wesker if they actually met each other. Just some good dialogue, I think, that fits really well. Wesker, saying, your journalism skills are anything too impressive. And Frank says, hey, I covered wars, so you get the quote from Dead Rising 1. Then you get some good humor in there where Wesker's like, you decided to cover wildlife instead. And Frank's like, nice change. It fits because, Frank has always had comedy to him. He's always had humor to him. So it just fits very well with this dialogue.
You know what? Want it? Take it.
Frank, you're not even trying.
You don't fuck with reporters, man.
So that was the first bit of action we got. I really like the action that Nintendo Reviewer does with the Silver Screen Showdown. I just like the way they have these people fight each other. I love the sound effects and little things like the bottle he broke stabbing him. It just the action in this series, especially this one, has entertaining sound effects and ones that really sound satisfying to listen to. So the action's well done. As well as the way Wesker fights and how Frank fights, it fits their characters.
Thank you, Mr. West. I'm now more powerful than ever before.
Obviously, it doesn't kill Wesker completely because he has all those powers. He's a super human virus, all that shit, whereas Frank West is just a journalist, but he does have some skills. So obviously, Wesker isn't dead yet. Of course, we got the great sledgehammer from the Dead Rising series, a signature weapon. Great to see that in there. Frank using it on a Wesker. You get Wesker doing some nice kicks and nice ass kicking towards Frank. This is just some awesome badass fighting you get between Wesker, where Wesker's fighting against Frank. Sounds satisfying. It's really cool, and it's like it fits the character. And then Frank, the way he's fighting him, he does sort of that jump kick at Wesker, and all of it just fits the characters really well. Just well done action, very entertaining to watch, and it's just really good, honestly. We got the 2x4 on deck from Dead Rising. Wesker straight blocks that like it's nothing. Blocks it and breaks that one like it's nothing. And then this is a part of Dead Rising where you can throw food and throw items and stuff at enemies and characters as well. So this is also cool.
The game is over.
We got Frank doing the charge towards Wesker, which to me is also very reminiscent of when Chris charges at Wesker in Resident Evil 5, so that's awesome. Then we got the badass knife from Dead Rising 1.
Eye for an eye, Frank.
Just some well done fighting right there from both Frank West and our Wesker. the costumes were on point. They played the characters really well, and they just fought each other really well. The fighting style fit their characters. Satisfying action to watch. You get to see everything that's happening. There's no shaky cam. You get really appealing sound effects. You get weapons that Frank uses that's from the Dead Rising series, whereas Wesker's just using his melee moves, his awesome kicks, kicking him to the ground and doing this like dodging with his knife and stabbing it in his back. And just overall kicking his ass. And you had Frank using that knife from Dead Rising 1, and just some satisfying action, really good. And I just love how this episode, you have a setup where the characters meet, you have some dialogue, and then it gets to the fight. I just like that. It's a nice touch, and it makes it more entertaining because it's not just them fighting out of nowhere. You actually get some type of story and some type of dialogue between the two, which I appreciate.
And thus concludes our very first showdown. Special thanks to Alan, aka the Tragic Mustache, for appearing as Frank West in this episode. I'll have a link in the description of this video to his Let's Play channel. And also special thanks to my lovely girlfriend Varsha, aka Millennial Star, for doing the cinematography on this episode. Millennial Star, by the way, will be playing Buffy Summers in our next episode, which will be a 90s throwback of Buffy the Vampire Slayer versus one of her old rivals, Spike. There are a lot more showdowns to come. This was only the beginning. See you next time.
Good be here. So yeah, that was it for Albert Wesker versus Frank West Silver Screen Showdown. So let me get back to my Clip Champ tab. So yeah, that was my. I'm not used to looking at this. I need to look at this more. So that was my reaction to Albert Wesker versus Frank West Silver Screen Showdown Season 1, Episode 1. I know this wasn't a blind reaction, but I tried the best I could, try to be entertaining. I paused it at times, to give some commentary and talk a little bit here and there. Now, maybe I could have talked while the video was playing, but the audio was kind of loud, so maybe I'll have to adjust that for future reactions. But, this is my first time really getting into the reaction scene, so hopefully I did a good job. Love this episode. I've seen it many times, and hopefully, if you've never seen this before, you're just now being exposed to it. Link in the description to the original video itself. Go check it out. They all did a great job with that episode, and I really wish there was more fights like this because there's so many I'd love to see. Because Bat in the Sun's cool. Screw Attack or Death Battle is cool, but there's a lot of people they still don't have a fight that I'd love to fight. Like I'd love to see Sebastian Castellanos from Evil Within versus Leon from Resident Evil. I think that would be really cool. I would love to see maybe like Hellboy versus Marv from Sin City. I'd love to see maybe like Chuck Green versus Lee or Chuck Green versus Rick from Walking Dead, something like that. There's just a lot of more potential in that area, but yeah, that's it for my reaction to Albert Wesker versus Frank West Silver Screen Showdown Season 1, Episode 1. Dope video. It was always fun to revisit this one. So that's all I got to say in this reaction video. Let me know how my reaction is and what I could improve or keep and all that. So that's it for this one. Peace, and make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share notification bell. And check the links in the description for Cash App, Patreon, and or if you just want to follow me on my social media pages, those are down there as well. But that's it for this reaction. Peace. So there's some stuff I forgot to mention in this reaction video of Albert Wesker versus Frank West. So who do I think of who won the fight between Wesker and Frank? Well, I like both of these characters. They're both very strong, but I think it makes sense that Wesker beat Leon. Wesker beat Frank. I think it makes sense, honestly, because Wesker has cop training, has been through a lot of things. Resident Evil, beat up Chris. He has a lot of experience. Plus, he has a superhuman strength virus. Whereas Frank, he is strong. He has great fighting skills. He can do tons of powerful stuff to zombies. He's a very strong dude, but he's just a normal guy. Whereas Wesker has that superhuman virus strength. So, I think it makes sense for Wesker to win this fight. So that's my opinion on who I think won. And honestly, if I was making the fight, Wesker would win it as well. Even though I do like both characters. Now, to me, this one makes more sense than the one Screw Attack did when they had Frank versus Leon. I didn't agree with that one. I thought that one, in my opinion, I just didn't agree with the outcome. But this one to me makes more sense. So that's what I think of who won the fight. But let me know who you think should have won this fight watching this. So that's it for this reaction video. Just had to add this because I forgot to.